Welcome to the first episode of the Glacier Guys. I'm Ethan Holesha, here with my co-host,
Joey Fernandez.
And this will be a weekly podcast giving you our opinions on sports, marine sports, 4 major sports. You will be able to see these episodes on the Glacier, the Moraine Valley Student Publications, and here we go. Super Bowl, I think that's what we have to talk about first, for sure.
Of course, it's the hot topic around town right now.
I'm very surprised, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone's surprised that Tom Brady won, but I think everyone's just surprised at how it went.
Like you said, I was expecting it to be a good game, but those 2 tackles that were out, man, for the Chiefs, that made all the difference in the world.
Yeah, I mean, Todd Bowles drew up a great game plan for the defense.
Gosh.
I mean, they kind of just phased Tyreek Hill out of the game. They completely just took him away and said, you have to beat me with someone else.
And Mahomes just looked like, he looked like a Bears quarterback out there, honestly. It just goes to show that you really need an O-line to have a functioning offense, especially against a defense that's really come into their own.
Yeah, completely agree. I mean, he made some great throws, but the receivers just didn't seem like they were getting enough separation and making plays, you know?
Yeah, great throws, understatement. I mean, he was parallel to the ground at one point, and it hit the guy right in the, I forgot what receiver that was, but hit him right in the face mask through his hands.
Oh yeah, it was Darrell Williams.
Williams.
You almost feel bad for the guy at some point. I mean, you almost do, but at the same time, he's had so much help throughout his career.
Yeah.
He was bound to get let down by his teammates sometime.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, what did they say? That was only I think he's 44-10 now as a starter, which is still absolutely ridiculous.
And he's got the biggest contract in NFL history. I think he'll be all right, but
we got to give the Bucs some credit, though. I mean,
oh yeah,
despite the Chiefs being banged up, I just think, I don't know, this just goes to show that, like, when Brady comes to a team, even though he's only left the team once, his presence alone just makes everybody around him better.
Oh yeah, I mean, he just changes the culture the second he steps in the building. I also think the Bucs had the most talented roster in the league, but a lot of that was because of him. I mean, they signed Antonio Brown, Gronk, and I mean,
LaShawn McCoy.
LaShawn McCoy. I mean, no one's giving LaShawn McCoy credit. I mean, he's stepping in the building 2 years in a row.
Getting something done.
Chiefs and Bucs won a Super Bowl.
I mean, he didn't do much, but you know what? He still got those rings, so that's all that matters.
Just brings the heavy morale.
Yeah, there's no doubt that talent followed Brady to a team, but I mean, that's just what's going to happen. I mean, exactly. How long has Bruce Arians been the head coach, though?
Last year. It was his first year.
Okay.
I mean, Bruce Arians also is a great coach. I'll give him that. And the OC and DC, Byron Leftwich and Todd Bowles were also great hires. I mean,
they're fantastic.
Todd Bowles was the defensive coordinator when he got fired as the head coach of the Jets, but that was a good snag. I was hoping the Bears would pick him up.
Well, yeah, that would make too much sense, right? I mean, I've seen people hating on Brady because of the I mean, I feel like when people are making excuses for you winning, you're doing something right, you know?
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, every great athlete has people that just go to great lengths to discredit everything you do, even when it makes no sense. But
I mean, you can't even say the refs bailed them out. The Chiefs had 8 first-half penalties, most of them on the defense. They were blatantly holding receivers.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy how clean the Super Bowl that Tom Brady played was. I mean, I can't think of any glaring mistakes he actually made.
No, I'm pretty sure he had less than 10 incompletions. He had 3 touchdowns, and
no turnovers.
It's kind of debatable if he deserved MVP or not, because there was Devin Smith. I mean, he had
Devin White. Yeah,
Devin White had. I mean, he had a great game.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely could agree with Devin White, but I think Tom Brady just gets it just based off his legacy, and he didn't really lose the game make any mistakes that could take it away from him.
He didn't have to do too much. That's the difference.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Like, he did everything he had to do.
Oh yeah, I mean, he just kind of let his receivers make plays. They ran the ball well. I mean, the Chiefs did also make it easy for them. They gave them so many free yards. It was kind of outrageous.
They made
at
it
one point.
way too easy for them.
And their defensive leader, Tyrann Mathieu, kind of lost composure a little bit towards the end of the half.
That's an understatement.
And when that kind of happened, a a lot of people knew it was over because he's like their heart and soul. So
Yeah.
if when the heart and soul is going down, I mean, the ship is sinking.
Yeah, it just seems like the whole team's. I mean, the defense was kind of the question mark going into that game, but Mahomes was clearly banged up a little bit. He went into surgery after the Super Bowl, right? That was a rumor.
I mean, Adam Schefter and all them reported it and said that he was supposed to have surgery, but in his press conference, he said that they were going to make the decision today.
Okay.
But most likely it's because he'll have it a whole off season to recover from it. So
I really thought it would be a barn burner, high scoring game.
Exactly.
The Bucs do have a good defense, but I don't know. They haven't been great all year. It took them a while to come into their own, but just having an offense like the weapons that the Chiefs have, the weapons that the Bucs have, I really thought it was going to be in the upper 30s for both teams.
I exactly thought the same thing. I mean, I just didn't think that Andy Reid would not be able to scheme guys open. I mean, Todd Bowles just came in with a great game plan. I saw a stat that the Buccaneers played the most 2 high safety looks that anyone's played throughout the whole year, which is when both safeties are dropped deep into the, like almost like the outfield of the field, and was basically taking away the deep ball on first and second down, which is more like the coverage they were playing was more like a third down type coverage. So that's why Tyreek Hill kind of couldn't do much.
Right. I mean, it was kind of sad even when. Because Mahomes had to scramble out, I'd say like over 50% of the plays. It was honestly like I was shocked just seeing that. And I mean, when he had the time to throw, the receivers just weren't open. I mean, the secondary was locking up the receivers, and I mean the pressure on Mahomes was just insane.
Yeah, I mean the only guy I saw actually getting open like somewhat was Travis Kelce.
Yeah, I was about to say.
But he can only do so much as a tight end because he's not on the outside like burning guys for deep for big plays, you know.
Exactly. I mean, it was. I don't know. It was kind of a sad game to watch, but
yeah, definitely.
Brady just. I don't know, man. It's hard to believe at this point. Like, how are you letting a 43-year-old do this to you?
That's
I don't like an immobile 43-year-old man is I don't. He just wins time after time.
I mean, can you deny him at this point?
No, because this was kind of like the final stepping stone for him to prove himself. Everyone's like, all right, he's got 6, but he can't win without Belichick.
Exactly.
He's a system quarterback. Go to the Bucs. Not only did he switch teams, he switched conferences. Like.
I mean, guys he's never even played with in the weirdest year that the NFL's ever had because they had no training camp or OTAs. Literally just kind of walked in and said, all right, let's go.
Even at the beginning of the year, I mean, they lost to the Bears. I think they dropped both regular season meetings to the Saints, right?
Yeah, they got smoked. Yeah. And then they actually played the Chiefs, and they got smoked also. Yeah. Tyreek Hill had almost 300 yards against them. And
I'm pretty sure in one quarter he had over 200.
And this, I mean, in the Super Bowl, you couldn't even tell he was playing most of the time.
No, I mean, this was kind of like the preseason. The thought going into this year is like, all right, it's going to take Brady probably a few months for the team, especially with no preseason because of COVID. It's going to take them a couple months to start clicking, and that's kind of exactly what we saw.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I just don't like the fact that they beat like almost maybe the best 3 teams, like 3 of the best teams in the NFL. Like besides the football team, they were a solid team, but they didn't have a good
They're missing
so.
You know what? Speaking of the football team, they're missing a few pieces, man. I think they could be decent.
Oh, of course. I mean, if they could pick up like even an average quarterback, I think they're an easy playoff
Heineke,
team.
Man, come on, he's the answer.
I don't know about that. I think he's a solid player.
I feel like he's a solid backup. But
definitely. He can provide a little spark maybe, but not a consistent.
Will the Bucs be back here next year?
I mean, I don't. That's really tough to tell. I mean, it just depends. I mean, they said that they're going to bring back Chris Godwin, but I mean, who knows until it actually gets done?
Yeah.
So it just depends on what the other teams do. I mean, if the Packers, I hate to say it, if they make some good moves in the offseason and sign maybe another wide receiver, like Will Fuller, maybe like that, I think they could easily beat the Bucs. I mean, not easily, but they could. I could definitely see it happening.
Yeah.
But the Saints are on the downturn, so I think they could be there.
Yeah, the Bucs. I think NFC Championship game at least.
Yeah.
Barring a career-ending injury for Brady, I just don't think that's possible at this point because, like, when you watch him play, he doesn't take a sack hard. He goes to the ground. Like, he's smart.
No, yeah.
He's very smart with protecting his body during the game.
Yeah, I mean,
always.
Yeah, he takes care of himself a lot better than a lot of older quarterbacks do. A lot of older quarterbacks will take it easy a little bit in the offseason, but not him.
And it's just funny, like, after the game, they give him the MVP. He's like, well, I think Jim Nantz was like, well, we see you here next. He's like, yep, I'm coming right back next year. Like, no hesitation whatsoever.
It's funny that they even ask him that question.
Honestly. I mean, he said a few years back he plans on playing till he's 45, but if he goes past that, I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised at this point.
I don't even think he expected to be in this great a shape at this age.
I don't like, he's probably like, I don't know, man.
He's just kind of going with the flow, I guess.
I guess, but it just I don't know. I can't wrap my head around the fact that a 43-year-old is just still in his. I mean, he's not in his complete prime, but he's just. I don't know how to explain it.
He's still an above-average quarterback.
Yeah,
I mean, he's
completely above average.
He's better than 80% of guys.
He's probably the best facilitator and like controller of the game that we've ever seen. You know.
Yeah. I mean, he controls the pace of a game. That's why you never want to punt it back to him at the end of games because you know he's going to find a way to get that first down and drain the clock.
Exactly. I mean, we could talk about the halftime show. I thought the weekend was pretty good. Saw some hate, but I had no complaints.
No, yeah, it was definitely interesting when he was running around in that room.
Yeah, that's where all the memes came from.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what he was holding, like maybe like a phone or something, but that was pretty cool. And then, I mean, it was a little creepy with all the people with the masks on. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it seemed a bit. I don't know. It just raised a few eyebrows. I'd say that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, I mean, I may have been a little afraid if I was at the game, but it's besides the point.
Yeah, no, I just saw people complaining. They're like, "Oh, we need to bring real musicians back with instruments, and we can't understand what he's saying." I'm like, he sings clearly. I don't want to hear it. People are gonna find a way to complain about anything.
I mean, I think he has a good voice.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's without a doubt. He has a good voice. We can move into talking about NFL free agency and the draft.
Okay.
You want to kick this off?
Yeah. Well, I want to start this off with all the Carson Wentz slander out there I've been seeing all over social media. I just want to start out with a statement because for people who don't know, we're both Bears fans.
Very big Bears fans.
A lot of the offseason talk is going to be Bears-centered. So I've seen some reports out there that Carson Wentz wants out of Philadelphia.
Right.
And supposedly the two teams most interested are the Colts and the Bears. And I've seen the reaction from Bears fans from that report. I mean, didn't seem very positive. And I'm sitting across from someone who also shares his opinion.
Here we go.
And I just gotta say I disagree. I mean, I think that he's the best quarterback that we've ever had is the day he steps in the door. I mean,
best quarterback we've ever had.
Yeah, I mean, that's not saying much for the Chicago Bears,
true.
But
Sid Luckman? No.
I mean,
post Super Bowl era.
I usually don't go with the Sid Luckman argument because I can't say I've ever seen him play. So.
I don't think I've ever seen a highlight of Sid Luckman play. So.
I know he threw 7 touchdowns once, but can't tell you've ever seen him.
Yeah, I think there were only like 4 teams in the league at that point. But here's my thing against Carson Wentz. Okay, he's good when he's healthy. Emphasis on healthy.
Okay.
He's just never healthy. It just seems like he's never. I mean, I don't know.
Okay, I could see that point. I just think last year. I mean, last year was like really the only statistically like awful year he's ever had.
Right.
Every year before that, besides his rookie year, he had under 10 interceptions, over 20 touchdowns. I mean, a guy like that. I mean, I'm willing to go to the bat for that guy like that. I mean. I don't know how good of a teammate he is. I've seen all those reports out of Philly, but all of that can be like I don't know. I mean,
what were they saying?
Like, well, people were saying that maybe he wasn't supporting Jalen Hurts or something like that.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, who knows like how it actually was? You know?
Yeah, we weren't there, so it's
exactly. And I mean, last year was the worst situation he's ever had. His offensive line was banged up the whole year. I mean, his receivers. I mean, who was his number 1 receiver the whole year? Travis Fulgham. I mean,
they didn't have any options.
They picked Jalen Reagor in the first round, but he was hurt for a lot of the year. When he was there, he didn't make a crazy impact, you know. And his number 1 option, Zach Ertz, I mean, I don't know if it's due to Zach Ertz just kind of not being as good as he used to be. He lost a step.
Yeah, I was actually surprised about that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, Dallas Goedert's not a bad option also.
Yeah.
But
there's no, like, big go-to guy, though, like you're saying.
And I think the Foles thing was kind of still, like, hanging over his head a little bit.
Yeah.
And I feel like he was playing for a coach who didn't really want him in the first place.
Right.
I feel like. I mean, I feel like that's pretty clear at this point.
Yeah.
The whole reason he got fired apparently is because he didn't want Carson Wentz. So, I mean, I don't know. I think that he's just a change of scenery kind of guy. I'm not saying he's a great quarterback or anything. I'm just looking at the other options out there, and I feel like he's the best option for us.
I mean, not realistically, but in best case scenario, like Deshaun Watson's obviously the best quarterback, but I just don't see that happening.
No, yeah, I definitely
Bears.
don't think we have enough assets to get Deshaun Watson.
No, and if we were to somehow get him, we would give up way too much.
Oh yeah, I mean, we're giving up the house. I mean, the team is going to be scraped in a few years without it. I mean, if we did get him, because we wouldn't have any future picks. I mean, we wouldn't have any cap room, so I mean, we'd be cutting key guys like Kyle Fuller and stuff like that.
Right.
So I don't know if it's even worth it at that point.
2020, Carson Wentz, 57.44 completion percentage, 26-20 passing. Yep. I think, passing yards, 21 touchdowns, 16 passing, 15 interceptions.
Yep.
He gets benched in week 13. I mean, it's against the Packers, but, like, I don't know.
I mean, yeah, I definitely think his stats last year were pretty awful. I'm not gonna lie about that, but I think that he was just in a really bad situation. I mean, you see guys like that just have really awful seasons sometimes. I mean, it's not a normal thing. Like quarterbacks are their careers are most of the time roller coaster rides. I mean, there's only a few guys out there that are pretty steady.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Even some of the greats, like you said, have bad seasons. But I mean, one-time Pro Bowler. Once had it. I mean, he would have been. Was that the year that he would have been MVP?
2017. Yeah.
Yeah. If he didn't get hurt.
But I mean, in 2018 and 2019, if you look at his numbers, I mean, they're not that bad. You know, I mean, like 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. 4,000 passing yards in 2019 9-7 season. I feel like, I mean, like that's not a bad season. I mean, if he does that with the Bears, I mean, and their defense steps up, say with their new coordinator, who knows? I mean,
yeah, that's true.
I don't think that's a bad option. I mean, who knows with Matt Nagy and his play calling, but if Matt Nagy's going to be there, then, I mean, you might as well put the best guy you can out there and hope he can do something.
I hope he gives up his play. I hope he still has his play calling giving up. Because
I hope so too also.
I just want to know what changed after that first year that Nagy was head coach. Just the risks and I mean, he catered those plays to specific players so perfectly that 12-4 year.
Oh yeah, I know. There was so many guys schemed open. Even when Mitch was missing them, there was guys open.
I don't know what happened.
Like I don't know. Their offense was consistent. Like I can't say like the last time I've seen that from a Bears team before 2018, and after that we haven't seen it since.
Yeah, I mean I think there was like a 4-week stretch at the end of this past season where we were scoring like 30 a game, but I mean we weren't facing high competition.
Yeah, I was about to say that the teams we were playing were a little iffy. That's the only reason I didn't bring that up. But yeah, I mean I'll give it to him. No, I'm not gonna discredit him because they're still NFL teams. But.
And then there's Mitch. I want to love Mitch so bad.
Oh yeah, me too.
I've been vouching for him for the past 3 seasons when everybody's been calling for his head.
Oh yeah.
At this point, I think it's time to move on.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think he's a good guy. I mean, it's just like I want to root for the guy. I've been sticking my neck out there. I've been defending him, but I mean, I think he just needs to go somewhere else. I still think he can be a successful quarterback, just not here. Just because he just needs to change the scenery, kind of like Carson Wentz. But he's never had the same amount of success as Carson Wentz has had, per se. But he it's that kind of thing, like kind of like Sam Darnold in New York.
The talent is in there somewhere, though.
I see it. Yeah,
he could be a dual threat quarterback. He's just, I don't know. I feel like it's confidence, decision making, and I guess the situation he's been in with Chicago and the coaching.
I think
Nagy has not used him right at all.
No, not at all. I mean, he he had him in a basic offense that he was coddling him too much and like trying to protect him. But at some point, you gotta let him go. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, like you can't he's in his 4th year and you can't just sit there and hold his hand through everything. You know? Like,
yeah.
Eventually, you gotta either let him lose the game for you or win it for you.
We saw what happened with Jared Goff. You know?
Exactly. I mean, you get sick of guys like that after a while. I mean, you can win with guys like that, but you need the perfect system. Like, I think the perfect system for Mitch Trubisky would be the 49ers system.
49ers?
I mean, yeah, because Kyle Shanahan would really dumb it down for him and let him not have... He would cut the field in half, kind of. Like, he would only let him see his first and second read and just get the ball out.
So,
quick.
do you think that's why we saw Jimmy Garoppolo do good that one year? Or?
Yeah, I think Jimmy Garoppolo's... He's a solid quarterback, but he's not going to win you any games.
No, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Definitely not.
They were running the ball more than any team that year, so...
Mm-hmm. And they had crazy speed at the running back position.
And their defense was just ferocious.
Oh,
Nick Bosa was just in the backfield every time.
They got screwed this year with injuries. I mean, that was horrendous.
They'll be back next year. I think they're a sleeper team to make it back to the Super Bowl.
For sure. We could talk about that Jared Goff Matthew Stafford trade.
Yeah.
Stafford was a guy that I know it's like interdivision, so
yeah,
it wasn't likely to happen. But
we would have had to pay a lot more. Yeah.
I would take Matt Stafford any day of the week, man.
Oh yeah,
I mean, you could argue that he's the most underrated quarterback of all time.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably agree with you. I mean, he's a really good quarterback in my eyes. I really think he's been underrated for a long time. Just because of him playing for the Detroit Lions.
The Detroit Lions, the place you go to get your career ruined.
It's pretty easy to get lost in Detroit. I mean, I don't know.
I've seen Barry Sanders, Calvin Johnson,
yeah.
Matthew Stafford. I mean, Reggie Bush was there for a little bit, but
yeah, I mean, they had a few years back in like 2016, 2017 where they were on the bubble a little bit.
Yeah, they're pretty decent.
Yeah, they won 9 games in 2016 and 2017, but they just never got over the hump. I don't know.
Yeah.
They had Jim Caldwell. Jim Caldwell was actually not a bad coach.
Yeah, he was definitely not bad.
He's getting some looks now, actually. I mean,
really?
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. Like, it's just, I don't know if there's something in the water in Detroit or they always just find a way to ruin things. I don't really know. I mean,
yeah.
They had some good pieces on offense this year, actually, but their defense just was really lackluster. They took a corner at the 3rd pick in the draft, and Jeff Okudah just didn't perform as everyone thought he would.
Yeah, right. With the Bears, I mean, I wouldn't say we ruined talent, but it's just hard to believe that in in the history of what is it, the first team in the NFL, I think?
Yeah, something like
how
that.
it started.
I mean,
the
we're
NFL.
Basically one of the founding franchises.
How have we not had an elite quarterback? It just doesn't make sense.
I don't know if we're cursed or if someone has something against us and they're just not allowing us to get a quarterback, or there's like a truce or something. But yeah, it's really baffling. I really don't know. If Jim Harbaugh is in your top 3 best quarterbacks of all, well, I would say top 4 best quarterbacks of all time. I mean, you're doing something wrong.
All right. And we're seeing what he's doing down there in Michigan. So
okay. For the people who don't know, I'm a big Michigan fan.
Oh, Jim Harbaugh.
We'll get to that talk another time.
Yeah. I mean, as far as the rest of the league, I think the Chiefs are going to be back there next year.
Oh,
in
yeah.
the Super Bowl. I mean, Mahomes and the Chiefs just, I don't know, they just got unlucky with injuries at the wrong time.
Oh yeah, I mean, they still had a great season, all things considered. I mean, for the NFL, as hard it is to like even get back there in general, it's still a feat in itself that they made it. I mean, it's unfortunate that they lost, but their run is still long going.
Yeah, I was saying like all week that it's just so hard to repeat in the NFL, and I still bet on the Chiefs winning the game, but it's just, I don't know. Just bad timing for the injuries. That's it. Because I mean, you put those 2 tackles in there, it's a completely different game for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, Shaq Barrett was literally on Patrick Mahomes' back the whole game.
He was walking through the offensive line the entire game.
Yeah, exactly. And the Chiefs' backup tackle, Mike Remmers, was someone said something about him before the game on the Buccaneers, saying like I don't care about him or something like that. And he was like, "Oh, watch the tape and you'll find out."
Okay.
he probably could have done a better job backing it up, but it's, I mean, it's all right. I don't know if it was like a little intimidation thing or something.
Yeah, just a little banter. I mean, we saw that with Ty Matthew and Tom Brady. That was intense.
Yeah, I purely think that was a pretty like serious thing at the time, but it was just all in the heart and competition.
I saw a notification this morning that said that Brady texted him like apologizing, and I mean, you don't want to wake up the beast that is Tom Brady.
Oh yeah, and he may not look like it, but he's a fierce dude.
He might be one of the most competitive athletes of all time.
Oh yeah, I mean he looks like a psycho sometimes.
Yeah, he genuinely scares me.
Skip Bayless calls him Psycho Tom. So
Psycho Tom. Skip Bayless. That's a topic for a different time. His Twitter feed. If you want a good laugh, or honestly, if you want to be scared, just go on his Twitter feed. It's
especially the tweets from last night for the Super Bowl.
It's definitely something.
He's dancing. He's screaming. I mean, he's providing a lot of entertainment.
Yeah. Honestly, another team I could see up there again is the Bills. Josh Allen is definitely ridiculously talented.
I think they need a few more guys coming off the edge, I mean, I think they're just a couple pieces away though. I think they're pretty good though. I mean, they have decent running backs. I mean, I think they could take a good one in the draft, and that would kind of explode their offense a little bit. But I don't think they're a bad team. I think John Brown's underrated.
I was about to say their receiving core is not that bad. Like as a whole, it's pretty good. They have Cole Beasley too, right?
Yeah, he was an All-Pro. I mean, I don't think he deserved it, but he was an All-Pro. That's another topic.
And
though.
Stephon Diggs, I mean, he had a career year.
Oh yeah, I mean, Stephon Diggs he's a clear-cut number one at this point. I mean,
much like Allen Robinson.
Oh yeah, I mean, we'll get to that. Yeah, I mean, I think they could use a different tight end. I think Dawson Knox is solid, but I think they could find a better option
for
definitely.
Sure. Yeah. I guess going back to the Bears, Allen Robinson. I feel like we're gonna let this guy walk or place a franchise tag on him, which is I think what we should do because we don't want to give him a contract for some reason.
I don't understand. I truly don't. I want to get into the mind of Ryan Pace, like what his thinking is right now. Like, do they even want to engage with him, or are they playing hard to get? I don't know if they realize that he can walk.
The entire offensive team is like vouching for Allen Robinson weekly during the season, and I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, because he just makes everyone else better. Like Darnell Mooney doesn't get as open as he gets without Allen Robinson because there's not as many people that can be like they can't have someone over the top for him because they have one for Allen Robinson.
And Javon Wims doesn't throw those punches without Allen Robinson creating space. Okay. So. Anthony Miller, same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, if we don't get Allen Robinson back, I think 20 is a good spot to take a receiver. But at the same time, I think we should take a tackle at 20. So I'm not completely sure what I think the best case scenario at this point is him getting franchise tagged and then them reconsidering signing him to a long-term deal.
Yeah. So speaking of the draft, what do you think the Bears should do?
Personally, I think their hands are kind of tied. Saying like that's speaking that their pick isn't traded this year. I'm gonna go in that scenario.
I think are we at 20?
Yeah, we're at 20.
Okay.
We're one pick. The Redskins are in front of us. I think if we don't sign Allen Robinson and a guy like Kadarius Toney out of Florida, a wide receiver, if he's there, I like that pick. I think. He's extremely explosive without the ball or with the ball in his hands, but I think that's probably where he might go to Washington right before us. So I'm not completely sure. Or Rashad Bateman out of Minnesota, I like him a lot. But I think the best case scenario is we get one of the tackles the fall, like Elijah Vera Tucker out of USC. I think he's pretty good. Or Jalen Mayfield out of Michigan. Go Blue.
we we really need to beef up that O-line. Before, I mean, you could say quarterback, weapons, wide receivers, but that O-line, man, they lost us a lot of games this year.
Definitely. I think Jalen Mayfield's a good fit because he's a mauler in the run game. He's nasty. Like he gets so much push. I think that would help out Monty a lot.
And what we do in the draft, I mean, it kind of depends on if we go out and sign a quarterback in free agency or trade for one, because like what if we don't? What are we gonna take a Kyle Trask, or is he even gonna be there still?
I think he would be there in the second round for us personally. Yeah, I mean, if anything, we could trade up in the second. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. it just depends on who they like. I mean, I mean, I would be cool with trading up in the draft to draft a quarterback, but I just don't see where it makes sense because we don't really have that many assets that we could give up unless we're giving up a future first. But I mean, do we really want to mortgage the future? Unless I mean, I think it could be worth it though if we get one of the top 4. But I don't want to trade up for Mac Jones. I really don't. I think he's a good quarterback, but I just don't think he's the kind of guy that puts you over the top.
And I also think, I don't know, Bama quarterbacks in the NFL do not have a great history.
Yeah, I mean, because they're playing in such a great system with players that are just better than everyone else.
Yeah. I mean, Mac Jones had, the highest completion percentage in a season of all time?
Yeah, I mean, he was definitely great, don't get me wrong, but he lacks mobility in the pocket. He's extremely accurate, don't get me wrong, and he reads the field probably the best out of everyone, but he lacks mobility, and his arm strength is a little touchy. I mean, arm strength isn't everything at this point, though, because people say that about Burrow and Watson, but
exactly.
I don't know. But those guys are more mobile, so they can get out of the pocket.
They have more aspects to their game and just like natural athletic gifts and talent.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see what direction the Bears go. I honestly don't know because it's hard to ever tell where their heads are at.
Oh yeah, I know because they're such a low key organization. Like they don't really air out much.
No,
they're pretty in house.
Yeah, and outside of Chicago, it doesn't seem like many people are paying much attention to the Bears. You know?
No, yeah, we're in the mediocreville. So.
Even if we do make the playoffs, and I mean at 8-8, it's like all right, you know.
you're happy you made the playoffs, but you know in all reality you probably shouldn't have.
Yeah, it's just like the phases of the season were like, all right, we're 5-1, like let's roll. Then we drop 4 straight or whatever. I think it was more than that, maybe 5 or 6 straight. And then it's like, all right, let's
too
tank.
Many to count.
We're tanking now. Let's tank. Let's get a top 10 pick. Then we win another 3 or 4 straight, and we're like, all right, playoffs. And then we get absolutely smoked by the Packers.
Yeah, I got to start setting benchmarks for like the 4 or 5 times where I get my hopes up during the Bears season.
It's just so unpredictable during the season. It's I mean, the last 8-8 is like the worst case scenario. Like I'd be fine with going 3-13 over that. Honestly.
Oh yeah, I'd rather be really good or really bad.
Yeah.
I think sitting in the middle does nothing for your franchise.
No, it doesn't.
Personally,
You're in a stalemate, and I don't know. You just can't make any progress as an organization, like you said.
Yeah, like unless your team's like really young and on the come up, 8-8, like you can build from that. But if your team's as old as ours is, that's not a good sign. Because I mean, if your team's only getting older, how are you going to get any better? You know?
Right. Yeah, and our defense, especially our defense, is getting older. So
exactly,
it's only a matter of time. I mean, we're already seeing Danny Trevathan break down.
Oh yeah, he's definitely slowed up a little bit.
Yeah, he's lost a little step.
That's
in
why
his game.
That's why I'm glad to see Roquan Smith take a step up.
Oh yeah,
but I mean, we have so much money tied up long term in the defense that even if we tried to tank, I feel like we would win too many games to tank good enough.
Yeah, because our defense bails us out so much.
Exactly.
I mean, there were some games last season and this season where like it just looked like the defense didn't even want to play because our offense literally just could not get the ball rolling.
And it's hard to blame them for it.
Yeah,
you know, he's like, what else are they supposed to do at that point? Like, it kills your will. You know?
I see like if we're on national or something like the Bears and they're like, oh well, the defense isn't looking like it's supposed. It's like they're out there 75% of the game. Like we will go. How many 3-and-outs do we have a game? It's absurd.
Yeah.
It's really just inexcusable.
It feels like some of these national guys haven't watched the Bears over the past like forever.
Yeah, honestly. This is Bears football. They
Yeah.
have a great defense, have a pretty mediocre offense, have a few really good players on offense, but as a whole, I mean,
drag yourself into either getting close to the playoffs or making the playoffs barely, you know.
Yeah.
And then
not making it very far.
Yeah, and having the potential to maybe win a game, but you know, like in the end, it's not going to come.
Right.
Nothing's going to come to fruition.
Right. Exactly. Do you want to stay on football or do you want to move on to baseball?
Do you got anything else you want to talk to?
No. I mean, it's just gonna, for me, I don't know. We'll see. It just depends on what we do in free agency.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, we can go to MLB if you want.
All right. Both of us huge White Sox fans. I mean, things are just looking up from here.
Definitely.
Honestly.
I mean, do you want to cover the Cubs?
I I mean, if we have to. I mean, there shouldn't be much to cover.
No, yeah, definitely not. I just want to cover all of our ground. You know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we could.
We'll
we
start
could
with the
touch
White
on
Sox,
the Cubs.
though.
Yeah, we'll start on the team that matters right now.
Exactly.
Man, you know what? This has been a long time coming. We've built up this farm system for the past probably 5 years. Everybody's been saying around 2020 is the year. And you know what? We made the playoffs. Didn't do much. It was kind of a weird season.
Yeah.
But our team is just so young, man.
Yeah, it was a good building block. I think it was definitely a good start. I mean, like, coming into the season, even if it was a regular season, we making the playoffs, everyone would have been ecstatic, like, even with 162. So with the 60 and making it, I mean, that works just fine. So
And I mean, Abreu literally won MVP of the league.
Oh, yeah, I know. He lit the world on fire last year. And then we also had, multiple breakout rookies. I mean, Luis Robert, everyone expected.
Mm-hmm.
But the guys out of the bullpen, I think, were really taking some big steps for us.
We have some arm strength, like crazy.
Oh,
man.
I know. I mean, we got fireballers all over the place. I mean, we got Garrett Crochet coming up. I mean, literally being untouchable. He just had every time he threw the ball in the zone, it was just good luck. Like,
honestly, you just got to say a prayer when you're up there.
I mean, and then you had Matt Foster breaking out, coming out of nowhere, late round draft pick a few years ago. No one knew who he was.
Yeah.
And then Cody Hoyer. I mean, he's throwing 98-mile-per-hour sinkers. I mean, what else can you say? Like, these guys bring something different to the table, but they all do the same thing.
And Timmy, the past 2 years, he's hitting 330 or something insane.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Say what you want about his defense. He's a game changer.
But he's improving. You know? Every year he's getting better. I mean, and he's still not very old either.
No,
like,
he's mid upper 20s.
Yeah,
not even like
26ish. Yeah. I mean, our team's just so young. I mean, Eloy's getting better every year.
Yeah.
I mean, his defense still a question.
Yeah,
but
definitely in question.
Who knows? Nick Madrigal is going to be a good piece for us at second base. Yohan Moncada will be healthy this year, hopefully.
Yes, that's everyone's worried about his drop off. I mean, he was playing through injury last year. He missed a lot of time.
And he had COVID, and he said that really affected him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not really too worried about him.
No,
Either way,
he's 25 years old. Yeah. He's got all the time in the world.
Yeah.
So
either way, his bat will come around. I mean, even if it doesn't, he's still an elite defender at third base, and those guys are always valuable. So
yeah, I mean, we see when he was healthy, he batted .315. So
yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't know.
I mean, yeah, he's definitely got the intangibles, and he has so much protection in the lineup. I think he'll figure it out.
Mm-hmm. Liam Hendricks, huge signing.
Oh yeah, great.
I don't care if we overpaid for him in the slightest bit. That is a massive signing.
Yeah, I mean, he's what I think the best reliever in baseball.
I
mean,
I would definitely agree.
To get a guy who's even in the conversation is just ridiculous. I mean, especially that since our bullpen was good last year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just taking Alex Colomé and replacing him with the best guy that we could possibly get. I mean, I think that's a home run right there.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that made our bullpen top 5 in the league. I mean, and that was one of our weaker points. I really don't see many holes left in this team. I mean, maybe another starter to maybe battle it out with Rodon to start the year for the 5 spot. But besides that, I mean, I really can't see what else. Maybe another outfielder. I heard some talks about Yoenis Cespedes maybe. Yeah. I mean, that wouldn't be too bad.
That wouldn't be terrible.
We signed his brother in the international market, so it could make sense.
Yeah, and he's a really good prospect, right?
Yeah. It was Yolki Cespedes.
Mm-hmm.
I believe he's 23 years old. So, he's been training.
Maybe we need to bring in Yasiel Puig.
I mean, I wouldn't be opposed, but I think we're chilling in right field with Adam Eaton. A lot of people didn't like the signing, but I like him.
That just slipped my mind that we got Adam Eaton back.
Yeah.
I mean, when he was here, I loved him, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of need, like, people say he has character issues and he's kind of a jerk.
You need a gritty guy like that. That's a guy that you hate if he's not on your team. He's like an AJ Przinsky, but if he's on your team, you love that guy.
You need a couple of guys like that.
Oh yeah.
I was watching some interviews and some other guys saying that when they played the White Sox, they were almost too nice as a team because they didn't have any guys like that.
Yeah.
But guys like Liam Hendricks, he says he considers himself a narcissist on the mound. He's a really nice guy in real life, but he considers himself a narcissist while he's on the mound.
Interesting.
So, yeah. So, and And then Adam Eaton, I mean, he's just a fiery competitor. That's all he is. I mean, he can't really be like that much of a jerk to affect the team that much.
No, especially when you have a team this talented. Like, he's not gonna be getting on guys because we just have so much pure talent.
Yeah, I mean, and his Nationals teammates loved him, so I'm not really sure where that came from.
Yeah, I don't understand either.
Yeah.
I mean, and then the La Russa signing, I was pretty critical of that at first, just because of like his age and the age of this team. They definitely have a younger, up and coming kind of attitude. Yeah. But I mean, when you really look back, like the experience that this guy has, he knows baseball back and forth. You know?
Oh yeah, I mean, he's won wherever he's gone. People say the game may have passed him by because it's changed in whatever the 10 years or so he hasn't coached in. But I think he's doing just fine. I mean, he was in front offices advising the game and stuff like that this whole time. I mean, he's been keeping up. People are saying he's not going to be able to communicate with the young players and stuff like that, but he's bilingual and he's always found a way for guys to rally around him, even if they don't like him that much as a guy. They always respect him as a coach because they know what he brings to the table.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing you could say besides positives about this Sox team. You know.
Yeah. And one thing that we forgot to touch on was the Lance Lynn trade.
Yes.
And Lance Lynn, I mean, he's been one of the most underrated pitchers in baseball.
Yeah, for sure.
And he's also one of those fierce competitor guys.
Who
played for La Russa back in 2010, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of his key rookie relievers at that point.
Yeah.
In the playoffs. I mean, he loved playing for him. He's one of those fierce competitors who kind of just goes on the mound and says, "Here's my fastball, come hit it." I mean, that's literally, he throws 70% fastballs.
Yeah.
And I mean, his curveball is good, but he throws 70% fastballs.
Yeah,
so
that's honestly insane.
Yeah, and he's a workhorse. I mean, he'll like, you have to drag him off the mound every time he comes out. I mean, what else can you say about him? He's a top 10 Cy Young guy.
And we got Kopech coming back.
Oh yeah,
don't overlook that.
It's gonna be big. Yeah, I mean, not many teams have a guy like Michael Kopech, Andrew Vaughn, Nick Madrigal, all technically coming up for the first time. Well, even though two of them have played so far, but not much, you know.
Right. Yeah. I mean, sky's the limit with this team. I think they're going to be good for the next 10 years if we can manage to keep this core even, because there's going to be players that leave. I mean, that's just baseball, but
yeah, of course.
This is, I mean, the next decade's going to look great for the White Sox.
Oh yeah, I mean, they'd really have to go above and beyond to screw this up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, do you want to get to any other teams?
I mean, pretty big signing for the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Trevor Bauer, is that what you were thinking?
Yeah.
I was honestly not expecting that for him to go there.
Oh yeah.
It seems a little odd for, like, I feel like Trevor Bauer would be the type of player that doesn't want to join a team that just won.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think so, right?
With the way his personality is, I was just, I don't know, that threw me for a loop for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a good signing on the Dodgers' part.
Oh yeah.
Just because it basically tells San Diego, like, everything you did, like, I can do this, I can do it better.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, they just kind of big brothered them a little bit, I'd say. But I mean, Trevor Bauer, I mean, I guess it's a good spot for him to go, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's
the best team he could have gone to. I don't know if the Mets offered more money or anything like that, but I mean, he's the nice weather, LA. He's from California, I think. So, I can't say I blame him.
He's like an amplified Adam Eaton, like, with his personality.
Oh yeah,
that is a guy that you love when he's on your team. But if you're playing a guy like that, man, I mean, you've seen some of the things he's done.
definitely have to be able to take some trash talk if you're facing him.
And even just the body language, and I don't know. Trevor Bauer is a very interesting character.
The only thing about the contract is I don't know if he deserved to command that much of a salary, but like, hold up, I'm gonna pull up the contract details right now. So
okay.
I have the exact specifics, but he's getting paid $45 million in one of those years, so I don't.
Jeez.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that, but I mean, if the Dodgers went well over the luxury tax with this.
Yeah.
So if they're willing to just kind of throw money out there when they have Kershaw and Seager free agents next offseason, and I don't see a scenario where they don't bring those guys back. I mean, I guess to each his own. I mean, if they're willing to just go above and beyond it like that, but
yeah.
So he got a 3-year, $102 million contract. He earns $40 million this season, and then $45 in 2022.
I mean, he clearly proved himself this last year, but it's just like,
yeah,
I feel like he hasn't been consistent for that long.
No,
though.
He has not. I mean, last year, the year before this year, he had over a 4 ERA, I believe.
Yeah, I checked that really quick.
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, he's always had good stuff, but it's just whether when he puts it all together, like he has little spats where he can get thrown off his game a little bit.
Right,
so.
right.
I don't know. I don't know if he deserves to get like best pitcher of the MLB money. I think he more deserved like 25 to 30 million maybe.
Right. Yeah.
But since he was the best pitcher in the market, he kind of commanded it well, I guess. Yeah, last year he threw over 200 innings. I'll give him that. But he had a 4.48 ERA. He struck out a lot of guys. He had
he did strike out a lot of guys last
year. He struck out 10 per 9. That's pretty good. He had a high FIP, so it wasn't like he was getting unlucky or anything like that. But I don't know. It's questionable. I mean, I don't think he's a bad pitcher or anything like that, but I don't think he's consistently like a top 5 or anything like that.
Yeah, the money that he brought in was just, I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, he got a credit to him for getting his contract that he wanted.
Staying in California, the Padres, man. What are they like? They're just swinging for the fences.
Oh yeah, I mean, they kind of followed the model that I was kind of hoping the White Sox would, but the White Sox went the more of a budget route, which isn't the worst thing always, but I would have liked them to spend a little more money than they have.
Yeah.
I mean, they basically just went out and got, like, every time someone was rumored to be getting traded, the Padres were just he's ours.
No, well, he's ours now.
they were just kind of throwing guys at them because they've been stashing away like stud 15-year-olds for like 10 years now. It feels like
15-year-olds.
Yeah, I mean their international scouting's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean Clevinger, Darvish, Snell,
Dinelson Lamet, and Chris Paddock.
Yeah,
it's crazy. I mean, they have pitcher, and they have also one of the best pitching prospects in baseball, Mackenzie Gore, coming up, and he's a stud lefty. I mean, they just have an embarrassment of riches at this point. I mean, that there's not much else you can say. And their lineup's also nasty.
Oh my gosh!
Like, it's just ridiculous at this point. I don't know how many holes they have. I guess you could say their bullpen isn't as strong as maybe others can be, but it also is very good. I mean, they lost Kirby Yates, but he also wasn't like that great last year anyway. So yeah. I don't know. And another team kind of making splash moves like that are the Blue Jays. I think they're another team on the come up who can make a run at the AL East. I don't know if they'll necessarily win it, but they can make a run at it. They can give the Yankees a run for their money. The Rays also.
Bo Bichette and Vlad Jr. are just, I mean, the sky's the limit with their talent.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, they're two of the best young hitters in baseball, I think. Well, as far as talent-wise. And
yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and then they got Hyun-Jin Ryu last year, who threw some good outings last year.
Yeah.
I think he went a little under the radar as usual.
Yeah, he definitely surprised some people. And they went out and got George Springer, right?
Yeah, exactly. And they signed Kirby Yates also. So I think they had the pretty good offseason. I mean, they thought they had Michael Brantley, as a lot of people did when they got reported. It's pretty I mean, if I was a fan of the Blue Jays, I'd be pretty angry over that. But
yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Wait, they got Marcus Semien, right?
Yeah, they got Marcus Semien too.
Robbie
also.
Ray.
Yeah, I actually forgot about Robbie Ray, but yeah, they got Marcus Semien as their. I don't know if he's gonna play second or third. Third, I think.
Yeah,
maybe.
it'll be interesting to see.
I'm not sure, but they definitely have some options because Marcus Semien isn't a bad defensive shortstop, so putting him at second or third probably wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, they're making a decent splash for sure.
But yeah, they could definitely use another bat. Marcus Semien was a good bat that they could use, I think. I don't know. I think they're probably still a year away, in my opinion.
Former White Sox legend, Marcus Semien.
Yeah, sadly. Well, not sadly that he's a former White Sox legend, but sadly he's not with us anymore.
Yeah.
I think their rotation probably could still use a little bit of improvement.
Oh yeah, I agree.
I think they'll be all right. They have a young prospect, Nate Pearson, who's a stud. I mean, he throws like 103. I mean,
jeez, man, these guys are getting like just the power they're getting behind their arms now is just
Him and
Man.
Kopech have like the two best fastballs in the minors. So
Mhm.
I mean, it's pretty ridiculous. Oh well, besides Garrett Crochet also. I forgot about him.
Crochet.
He has an 80 grade fastball. It's the highest rating you can get in Crochet. But
My gosh.
yeah, it's pretty crazy.
We could. I mean, since this is Chicago area, we could touch on the Cubs.
Yeah.
Seems like I feel like they're on the edge of cleaning house, but they want to
Yeah.
hold on to this core.
I'm not really too sure at their direction currently. I mean, and personally, in my opinion, I would kind of clean house because right
I would
now
too.
the NL Central is probably the worst division in baseball, and they can easily win the division. But what does that really mean at the end of the day?
No, because
Like
they're not going to make a playoff run.
exactly,
at all,
they're just gonna get bounced in the first round. Is it really worth winning like low to mid 80s like in games?
My thing is like they go out this offseason, they get rid of a bunch of key players, but then they bring in guys like Jock Peterson.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess that was only a 1 year deal, so it's like whatever. He's a filler.
Yeah.
But like, I just don't like. I honestly don't see why
They've
you got.
signed some weird fillers too. Like Daniel Murphy that was an odd signing a couple years ago. I
Oh
feel like.
yeah, I don't know. They've made some pretty bad moves in the past.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think like, I mean, the
They
Jason
have
Hayward
Craig
is also
Kimbrel now, and he's not the same as he used to be.
that's been one of the most brutal contracts I've seen.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
that's the scary thing with relievers; they come and go. But
Mhm.
he was one of the guys that relied on his fastball when he lost it, like when it wasn't the same.
Yeah.
Everything else went down with it. But
yeah.
I mean, I feel like they I don't understand like why they still have some of their key guys in there. Like why not just tank all the way and just build up your farm system for a few years? You
Yeah,
know?
trade. I'd get rid of Rizzo. I'd get rid of Bryant.
Yeah, definitely those two. Contreras and Baez are on the fence for me because they're still young and you could just
Right.
extend them and you'll have them for the
feel
next
like,
run.
I feel like you could keep them
Yeah.
as like the
Especially-
veterans.
Especially because catcher and shortstop are two like cornerstone positions that are
Mhm.
hard to find.
Yes.
Like a first baseman, you can find a first
Yeah,
baseman. You know,
yeah.
I know Rizzo's he's like close to every Cubs fan's heart because he's been there like from the start, kind of like how Jose Abreu is for the White Sox.
Yeah.
So I understand like trying to keep him around, but he's gonna be old by the time you guys are good. But I guess. I don't know. I guess I could see an argument for keeping him around
Yeah,
because he's
and
like the
then
heart and soul. But
Cade-
Bryant for sure though.
KB is just like, I feel like that's a weird situation going on.
Yeah,
Because he won an MVP, and then like ever since then he's been, I'd say, pretty inconsistent. You know?
Yeah. I just don't understand. Like I really don't. Like he hasn't been healthy. I get all of that, but like there's also been like moments where he's been healthy and he's just kind of like I don't know. His numbers look decent, but
now, I mean,
it's just-
last year they look horrendous, but
no, yeah, last year of course, but it's just like his numbers have just gradually just not been the same. Like
yeah.
he goes out and wins an MVP, so you expect him to do that every year. And
Oh
he just
yeah,
kind of
and he did it
had-
early in his career, so you're like, all right, here's a
Exactly.
guy where like the sky's the limit for him.
A part of me doesn't think he peaked too early. I don't know. I think he just needs to find it. I really think he still has it in there. I think he's a really good player.
Yeah,
But,
me too, for sure.
don't know.
And that was kind of a guy that I was hoping that the White Sox would go out and get.
yeah, I think they should cut ties with him though, and personally, and just try to get what you can for him because he's gone after this year. I really don't see a situation where he's back.
No, and I wouldn't see a situation where he wants to be back.
Exactly. I mean, they've gone through that grievance for years. I think he's just kind of not fed up, but he's just kind of like I need to go somewhere else.
Yeah, he definitely. I don't know. There's definitely a love-hate situation going on there.
Definitely, because he won a World Series there, so there's always going to be that sort of narrative. But
Mhm.
at the same time, after that, it just hasn't been as great for him as he probably expected it to be.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, yeah.
Yankees. We could talk about the Yankees for a little bit.
Yeah.
There's just so much money there, man.
Yeah, I think the Yankees are a solid team. I just don't think they're the top of the American League good, personally.
No, yeah, I don't know. I feel like you go out and you get a bunch of big name players, but like as a team, I just feel like these guys don't really mesh that well.
Yeah, I think they have too many aging players with question marks on them.
Yeah,
personally.
I mean Stanton. That's a
Yeah.
perfect example.
Exactly.
Giancarlo Stanton.
I just like a lot of, and especially with their rotation, it's really sketchy. Honestly, the rotation's extremely sketchy.
And they just lost Tanaka.
exactly.
I mean, he literally left the league.
and he was it's pretty crazy actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean a lot of the guys in rotation are a lot big question marks. I mean, if you go down, they got Garrett Cole. I mean, Garrett Cole's Garrett Cole.
Yeah.
I mean, no question. I guess you can put Severino in there, but he's been hurt for a few years.
Yeah,
I mean,
the last couple of years have been weird.
Yeah, I mean, where does he fit in there? I mean, he's good when he plays, but you never know with him. Corey Kluber hasn't been the same the last few years. He's been hurt, and last year he got touched up a little bit.
Yeah.
So Jameson Taillon really hasn't been consistent in his career. I mean, he's solid. I think he's got good stuff, but can you really bank on him?
No, and I feel like I said earlier, that Tanaka loss I feel like that could come back to haunt them because he's been solid. He's been a very under the radar solid pitcher.
Yeah, I think he would have slotted in perfectly at the number 2 spot. I'm surprised they didn't give him a look.
So he got more money from.
I'm not sure. I think it was probably preference and money.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The Yankees have gone a little, I don't want to say cheap, but they've gotten out of their old spending ways where they kind of just buy a good team. Yeah, but they have guys like Jordan Montgomery who really haven't done much throughout the course of their career.
They still got to roll this Chapman.
I mean, Roldis Chapman's good. Don't get me wrong, but their bullpen also. I mean, I don't know. It's a little young, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, they got guys like Luis Sessa. I don't know how I really feel about him, or Chad Green.
Mm-hmm.
But they have Zach Britton and Chapman at the top. That's good. I mean, their lineup can mash. Don't get me wrong, but the question is health. You know?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, health is. I mean, it's hurt. Aaron Judge. I mean, he's had trouble staying healthy.
Yeah, Aaron Judge and Stanton are the two main question marks.
They're just such big humans. At the end of the day, that they're just bound to get hurt at some point during the season.
Especially moving around that much and all that. Yeah. I mean, and playing 162 games is no joke.
Oh no.
I mean, they get off days, but not many. You know.
Right.
And I mean, is Gary Sanchez going to show up this year? Who knows? I mean, the bat always comes around, but is his bat going to be so bad that you can't have him in the lineup every day?
Yeah.
Because he's lazy behind the plate. Who knows? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's a big question mark in my opinion.
I mean, DJ LeMahieu's he's a world-class player.
I mean, they got guys like Gleyber Torres, DJ LeMahieu. Those guys, I mean, they mash. I mean, that's what else can you say about it?
I don't know, man. The Blue Jays, I could see them taking the division.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see the Blue Jays coming out hot and surprising people for sure. I mean, they're just one of those teams.
If the Yankees end up being a wild card team, I would not be surprised at all.
Oh no, not at all. I mean, last year they were. So I mean, the Rays won the division last year.
That's right. Yeah, the Rays.
The Rays are nasty. Yeah.
I even forgot. The Rays were in the World Series. They're just one of those teams where you're like, it's the Rays. You think about it and you're like, they're actually a good team.
Yeah, they make a playoff run every year. They shed some of their best players, and then they just do it all over again with a bunch of players a lot of people haven't heard of. It's crazy. I mean, I respect what they're doing though. Don't get me wrong, because their payroll is not very high at all.
Right.
I mean, they get by with very little, but they just find guys out of the woodworks.
And during the season, they just find a way. You know?
I mean, they have some great prospects coming up though. Don't get me wrong. I mean, at shortstop they got Wander Franco coming up. So
sorry for that. I dropped my mic for a second. I lost Wi-Fi, so I'm just trying to get it back really quick.
It's all good. So yeah, with the Rays, they have a lot of good prospects coming up. I mean, and they have Randy Arozarena, who lit the world on fire last playoff.
Oh my gosh, yeah, he just had a performance of a lifetime. We really haven't. What do you have? The most RBIs in a postseason?
Most home runs, most hits. I mean,
ever?
Probably. Yeah.
That's insane.
It's pretty crazy. I mean, it was an expanded playoff, but he still broke it by a lot.
Yeah.
So I think he would have done it even without
in a normal
expanded.
postseason. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, and he really hasn't had much time in the major leagues. He's had a little bit, but nothing he's still considered a rookie coming into this year. So that's pretty crazy. I mean, if there's ever been a clear-cut favorite for rookie of the year, I feel like it's pretty obvious to him.
Yeah, I mean, let's hope, because we see guys that kind of go on tears
for
a postseason, and then they kind of fall off for a little bit, but
yeah, I mean, I don't know. Who knows if he'll actually be that good, but I think he'll be a solid player. I like what I saw from him.
Yeah, me too, for sure.
He seemed pretty confident at the plate. I think that's a good trade for a hitter to have. But yeah, I think the Rays will definitely be in contention. I mean, if you just look up their roster or whatever, and you may not see a bunch of names, but I mean, they always find a way.
Yeah. Yeah, they're just, I mean, they've kind of proven just to be a good franchise. They slip under the radar for sure. Like,
Oh yeah.
like when you think of the best teams, I even forgot they're in the World Series last year for a second. So
Yeah.
it's like,
It's pretty easy to slip your mind, especially with a team like that. And they traded their best pitcher this offseason. I still
Blake Snell.
have complete faith in them. I mean, they got a really good prospect in Luis Patino back though, so hopefully he can fill the void
Kevin
that.
Kiermaier, G-Man Choi. I mean,
Yeah.
they have a very Tyler Glass now.
Yeah, they got Glass now. Austin Meadows, who's a pretty good hitter.
Mhm.
Nick Anderson's an extremely good reliever. So is Peter Fairbanks and Diego Castillo. But yeah, I mean, they just have a bunch of guys that do their job and fill the role.
It's almost like a Patriots kind of feel. Like they
Oh, yeah.
they don't always have the best talent, but they just have guys that do their job.
Yeah, the Rays and the Athletics are very similar in that
Yeah.
aspect. They just kind of they just play, just do your job. That's all they ask out of you.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Is there any other baseball teams you want to talk about?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like those are kind of the only big threats, I would say, right now. Astros.
In the AL, yeah.
I don't know if the Astros are ever going to be the same.
No, I mean they're just gonna have so many people hating them. So like, how long can you play the villain role until it gets kind of old?
With that core, like with
That's what I'm
those people
saying.
together, like I feel like it's definitely. I don't think it's awkward between them, but like it's just a toxic environment to be in.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They know. I mean, they clearly know. Like it's just funny when they got caught. Like how Bregman they'd be like, oh, "Stop asking us questions about this." It's like you can't just brush off something.
The biggest advocate of the villain role is Carlos Correa. He seemed in the playoffs. He seemed like he was embracing it pretty heavy. But,
oh yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Some guys like it, some guys don't seem to like it. I mean, Altuve struggled mightily this year, and in the playoffs, he had multiple errors.
Very bad case of the yips.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, is that a result of the pressure because he knows everyone's rooting against him? I mean, who knows? Because he's never done anything like that. It's pretty uncharacteristic.
Yeah, he's been an MVP caliber player his entire career, and then for him to do something like that, it's just, I don't know. I'd say that plays a pretty big role in him struggling.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think we're good on MLB. We can get into the Bulls a little bit / NBA. I really like where this team's going right now.
Oh yeah, me too. I think the hiring of Billy Donovan really is working wonders.
Yeah,
right
that was
now.
huge. I mean, going from a guy, past two coaches, Hoiberg was in over his head, and Jim Boylan is Jim Boylan.
Yeah, Jim Boylan wasn't fit to be an NBA head coach.
No, and he definitely did not have the support of his team.
Oh no, definitely not. He wasn't very good with the X's and O's, and he wasn't very good with handling the players.
The highlight of Jim Boylan being the Bulls head coach is when he's walking through the tunnel and the fans are screaming at him. He looks back like a sad puppy up to the crowd. That's the one thing that sticks out to me.
It's just, man, you
almost feel bad for the guy.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Because he was kind of thrown into that situation, but it's like, I don't know. You just did not do a good job.
And then, I think the hiring of Billy Donovan and the hire of AK, I can't really say his name, but I think those both of those hires were working wonders for us right now.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, and we have a talented young team, but
oh yeah, definitely.
We just gotta figure out, like, I don't know. I guess Zach LaVine having like the leading veteran presence. I feel like we need another I wouldn't say another older player, but I don't know. There's definitely a few pieces missing.
We're definitely lacking a veteran star. I think that's what the team needs. I think in this offseason, with the trajectory that we're going in and everyone gradually getting better, I think we need one more player that can complement Zach LaVine. Maybe
for sure.
Whether it's a wing player or say like a big man. I mean, I think we just need another guy that can go out and get buckets, kind of like Zach LaVine. I know Kobe White's kind of like that, but he's not at that point yet.
Yeah, he's so young. I mean,
he's
in his sophomore year in the NBA, so
like he has those games where he kind of disappears a little bit, but he's only like 20, so like you got to give him kind of a break on that.
Yeah, I mean, he's the same age as us, so
exactly.
It's like, you got to give him a little bit of a break. I just don't know. I'm trying to think. I don't know who that player would be that we could go out and kind of add to the team, I
got to think about who would be a free agent. But I don't know. I've seen some rumors lately about that have been getting traction apparently. Lonzo Ball maybe getting traded to the Bulls.
That would be huge. I think
like that.
he's very slept on as a player, and people just hate on him because of the persona that his father put out there. Like, he is a very good point guard.
Oh yeah, he is
very good point guard.
Yeah, I think people underrate him a little bit. I don't understand, like, because I get how he had all the hype and stuff like that, but he's still a pretty young player, and he's actually been playing pretty well for like most of his career.
I mean, you don't really see a very good defensive point guard like he has been. There's not too many of those left, I'd say.
Definitely.
The scoring will come. I mean, his shots improved. He reads the floor amazingly in my eyes. I mean, he has some great assists. He does everything and a little bit more that you could ask out of your point guard. He doesn't have to score 25, 30 points a game. Yeah. That's not what he's there for.
He does everything but score above average. You know what I mean?
Even rebounds well.
Yeah, exactly. He rebounds well, plays defense, and facilitates. I mean, what else can you really ask out of a guard? I mean, if he's gonna get open buckets for other guys, I mean, why does it really matter if he's scoring like 10 a night? I mean, like, honestly,
if he doesn't need to score and they're winning games, like I don't know, it just doesn't matter.
Exactly. I think he would help out Kobe White a lot and Zach LaVine also, to be honest with you.
For sure.
Probably Patrick Williams too on those cuts to the rim, because getting him some confidence and getting him some open buckets, that'd be good for him, I think.
Yeah.
Because he's looked pretty promising so far, I think.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as we signed Billy Donovan, things have just really looked up. And we're still a few games under 500, but this is a young team. Yeah. And like you said, there's still a few pieces missing.
Winning this year is not the priority, I don't think. No. I think like it's been the biggest impact has been for Lowry. Honestly.
Oh, yeah, and it sucks that he just got hurt. Just got the news this morning. He's going to be out brutal. 2 to 4 weeks, but he's definitely stepped his game up this year.
Yeah, he's up over 20 a game this year. I mean, I think that's a pretty good mark for him.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Honestly.
And he's been shooting it well, pretty efficient. So, I mean, he could be another guy, I think, but if we get a guy that's like a little bit, like maybe equal with Zach LaVine or a little bit better, I think that'd be like great for us, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because, I mean, say what you want, Zach LaVine, he's an all-star player. He should be an all-star. If he's not an all-star this year, it's just highway robbery.
Exactly. And
he's literally gotten better each year of his career.
Yeah, the only reason he hasn't been an all-star is because the Bulls haven't been a great team.
Yeah,
you know?
And if you're a great star on a below average team, it's going to be hard for you to get any. I mean, look at guys like Bradley Beal. You know, he's in an awful situation right now.
Devin Booker for a long time. Also.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the time, people will find reasons for them not to be an all-star, like say that their team being bad is because of them. But I mean, if there's no players around them, what do you expect them to do at that point?
Look at Bron's first year with the Lakers.
Exactly. I was thinking the exact same thing.
When Bron, they didn't even make the playoffs, and you have LeBron James, but he literally, I mean, he didn't have much support.
Exactly. He had a young Lonzo Ball.
Very young Lonzo Ball.
I mean, he could have been in college still.
Yeah.
And then Kyle Kuzma. I mean, what else? Like, did they have KCP at that time?
I can't even remember. I mean,
not much.
Yeah.
Josh Hart.
Yeah, Josh Hart.
That's about it.
Yeah, I can't really remember who else. That was a pretty brutal team.
Nobody really of note. Let's say that.
Yeah, I mean, Bron was hurt for a little bit of that year, but nobody came at LeBron like, oh, you know, this just goes to show that LeBron's not a difference maker. Like, he can't come somewhere, and then you get some good players like AD. I mean, that's huge. Obviously, That's huge, but it's just you need a solid. You can't just have that one guy. You can't just have that Zach LaVine and be a great team.
Yeah, the NBA's changed a lot from the '90s. The NBA in the '90s, they would usually be like one star and one or two max. Yeah. And then they would kind of duke it out against the other guys. Everyone wanted their own team, but nowadays it's built on super teams. So you really can't be that successful unless you build it through the draft and just draft superstars that way and hope you get lucky.
To get there, you need a minimum of 2 superstars.
That's what I'm saying. Like
superstars.
You either sign them, you either recruit one guy and get him to recruit his friends, or you draft everyone and just kind of build it up as a whole. That's what I'm hoping the Bulls can do.
And lately, it's just been recruiting your friends, you know?
Like exactly.
With Bron and AD, then you have KD, Kyrie, and Harden, which is just absolutely insane.
Exactly. The last team that I can think of that built through the draft was the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah.
At first, and then what they do is they go out and sign a veteran that can put them over the top.
They sign a Kevin Durant.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. Like something the Bulls can kind of do, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's kind of what the Raptors did also.
Yeah.
They built from the draft. I mean, kind of. They drafted like guys like Pascal Siakam.
They got rid
of
DeMar though.
Yeah, they did that, but they also drafted him and traded away an asset.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know. I think they did it the right way though.
I mean, it's just crazy how Kawhi was there just for 1 year, wins and then dips. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Toronto deserved a championship just for the teams they've had, and I don't know, the Raptors. They have a good culture up there for sure.
Yeah, Masai Ujiri did a good job.
Mm-hmm.
But let's see. I mean, do you want to talk about the Lakers and the Nets this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think
the other contenders.
I think the Lakers are gonna go back to back. I feel like basketball is the one sport that is easiest to repeat. I'd say
for sure.
Just because I don't know. I feel like teams just kind of can control, like a Lakers team. They could just control their season. It's just weird, like how a team like that can just, I don't know, kind of have so much control over their own destiny.
No, yeah, for sure. I mean, I hate to say it, but I really think like there's only like one, maybe two teams that can put up a fight.
Clippers, right?
Clippers and Nets.
Yeah.
I mean, like, okay, I'll put it this way.
I thought you were meant just from the West.
No, I put just like in general.
Okay.
I mean, I think the Nuggets are talented, but can they really stand up to the Lakers in the 7-game series?
We saw that, and they can't. I still don't think they're going to take that next step.
No, I mean, I just don't think anyone on that team can stop LeBron. I mean, who are they going to stick on him in the wing, like Michael Porter Jr.? I don't think that would go well, you know. I mean, they have guys that can score. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I don't think the games would be like a blowout or anything, but I just don't think they can hang with them over time.
And then the Heat, I don't think they might not even make the conference finals.
Yeah, I mean,
what are they at right now? What's their record?
They're 9-14. They're the 12th seed right now, but I think they're better than that. Obviously.
Yeah, they're definitely better than that.
But I think they'll be probably the 6th, 5th seed by the time everything's all over. But I think I don't know. I mean, none of these teams just seem
jump out.
Yeah, I mean the 76ers, their whole issue is Ben Simmons can't shoot, so in the playoffs there's no spacing, you know? So teams can the good defensive teams can find a way to stop it over time. And it's kind of the same thing for the Bucks. I mean, Giannis, they just dare him to shoot, and they crowd the paint, and they make someone else beat them. You know, I mean, I know they went out and acquired Drew Holiday and all that, but I don't really see it.
Yeah, we have the Sixers leading the Eastern.
Yep.
The Sixers, because that the year that the Raptors won, I mean, they were that close to advancing. In the playoffs.
I think they're talented. I think it's just if Ben Simmons created more spacing when he's on the court.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, even if he shot mid-range jump shots more consistently,
did they get swept last year in the playoffs? Did they play Miami?
It wasn't a very close series.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
What it was exactly, but yeah, I just don't think that formula they're trying to win with right now is sustainable in a playoff setting. I think in the regular season they can beat up on everyone or whatever, but I think once everyone locks in and actually starts playing defense, as far as the stars go, I think. Nah, it's not gonna happen.
You know what? The Jazz right now are reminding me of that one year where the Atlanta Hawks were the 1 seed.
No, yeah, I completely agree with that.
They're just going on runs, and once it comes down to the playoffs and the games that really matter, I just don't see them even putting up a fight.
They're definitely a well coached team. Quinn Snyder does a good job, and they have solid players all around. I mean, I think
Mitchell and Gobert. I mean, they're great players.
Yeah, and Mike Conley is solid, I think.
Yeah,
Joe Ingles isn't bad. He's a good shooter.
Yeah.
I mean, they have a bunch of solid role players over there. I mean, they even have a star in Donovan Mitchell and a good defensive player in Rudy Gobert. But it's just in all reality, how are you going to stand up to LeBron?
And AD.
Yeah, I mean, Gobert can do whatever he can on AD. He might limit him or whatever, but no one on the wing is capable of guarding LeBron.
No,
not a chance.
No. And you know what? The Suns right now are the 4th seed. They're not going to be a threat, but it's
It'll be
just
exciting.
It just goes to show, like, when Chris Paul has a huge impact on teams, it's
Oh, yeah.
crazy.
With the Thunder last year.
Yeah, OKC was projected to be one of the worst teams in the league.
Yeah, and him and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander literally just said, "Let's go."
Yeah, they're like, we're not going to be a bad team this year. So
Yeah.
we're going to the playoffs.
Just took it in their own hands. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty impressive. I respect Chris Paul a lot. I think he's been underrated for a while.
I'd say he's one of the most underrated players ever.
Yeah, people hated on him a while he was with Lob City because they never made the conference finals with those three. But
yeah, was that ever Chris Paul's fault?
That's what I'm saying. I think he was the least to blame out of a lot of everyone. Because
and now look at Blake Griffin. I mean, I think he had one really good year with the Pistons, but this year he has. I think I saw something that said he had zero dunks this year.
Maybe something like that. I think he's just gotten a little older. I mean, because he's always relied on athleticism a little bit. So.
Yeah, and I know he's been trying to evolve his game, like, by incorporating the three-pointer, but yeah, he's definitely just aging. And then DeAndre Jordan, I mean, he doesn't.
I mean, he's just dunks and rebounds. I mean, it's not. You always can use a guy like that. Don't get me wrong, because he's an energy guy, but he's never gonna win you games. You know, he's just gonna help you out.
I mean, Chris Paul was clearly the best player out of those three.
Yeah, I mean, the other guys just didn't show up. I mean, there's nothing much you could do about that. I mean, they did well.
They blew some series for sure, but I mean, that's you can't really blame one player for that. You know?
Yeah, there's a lot of teams that don't make it over the hump. Like, they're just one of many.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, the Clippers. I think the Clippers just always have a shot just due to their talent. But I know a lot of people are down on them because they lost to the Nuggets
and playoff ball.
Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah, but I just really think they have enough talent. You can never doubt Kawhi Leonard playing with another star.
And I mean, PG. I think he could come back and have a good postseason.
Yeah, I mean, some guys overcome that. It just takes time for some guys. I mean, he's been good in the postseason before.
Yeah, when he was with the Pacers, I mean, the series that they used to have with the Heat when LeBron was there, those were insane.
Yeah, I mean, he's a great player. I don't care what anyone says. He's a great player. I mean, he's got it. He does it all.
Yeah.
He can shoot the ball. He can get to the rim. He can play great defense. I mean, what else can you ask for a wing player? So, yeah, besides that, I don't really see.
Yeah, there's not many major threats.
Besides I do think the Nets can stand up to them though.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny seeing that they have like the best offensive team of all time in a season and the worst defensive team at the same exact time.
I mean,
when you look at the players like KD, James Harden, Kyrie, looking at that, it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, I mean, this is literally the definition of modern day NBA basketball. This team. Yeah. Literally, just three-pointer, 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 free throw, free throw, free throw. That's literally that's their offense. I mean, it's hilarious, but
it's like the player in a pickup game that cherry picks and doesn't get back on defense. But that's like their whole team.
Yeah, I mean, how do you stop them on offense when their starters are in the game? You know?
I know.
There's just so much to worry about, and they have a guy like Joe Harris who can shoot with anyone.
Yeah, it's not just those three guys; they have a lot of other weapons.
Yeah, I mean, their bench may not be as strong as other teams because they gutted their team, but I mean, they're still going to be able to hang in the playoffs because how many minutes do the bench players even really play in the playoffs when it comes to superstars?
And the experience that the three of those guys have. I mean, two MVPs, and Kyrie, I mean, he kind of put that one series, like when the Cavs won, he took the big shots.
He's a
been
known
there. These guys have been there.
Yeah, he's a known big time performer.
Yeah.
So I mean, I know James Harden's been a little lackluster in the playoffs in his career, but I think with those two other guys to lay the load off him a little bit, I think he'll be all right.
And he's leading the league in assists now, so it's like, what can this guy do?
Yeah, he's so versatile, it's crazy. I mean, I think he's a little underrated on it. Well, underrated is some aspects of his game. Like his defense, I think he's a better defender than people give him credit for.
For sure, when he tries, actually.
Exactly, when he tries, because I think most NBA players don't play as good defense.
Especially in the regular season. I mean, once it gets to the playoffs, these guys are going to be on. Like when it comes to defense, they're probably going to limit the amount of points they give up per game by like 20 points.
Yeah, I think in the first couple rounds they'll breeze through. I think as long as they get past, probably I don't know who they would see. Maybe the Bucks in the conference finals.
The Celtics are just,
they're good, but they're not like over the hump good.
Yeah, they're always in a weird position.
Yeah. Tatum
Kemba's kind of struggling this year, which is weird.
Yeah, I like Jason Tatum. I like Jaylen Brown. I think they're good players, obviously. But I mean, can they really lead you past
the Bucks and this year's Nets. Like, I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, no, I don't see anyone being able to stick like James Harden. Honestly, like I know Jaylen Brown's pretty good on defense, but no, it's just not happening.
It's physically impossible at this point.
Yeah, I mean they're not gonna be able to hold them down forever. And
Right.
they also have DeAndre Jordan, who's I know he's aged, but he's a solid rebounder. All he has to do, if he gets a few offensive rebounds a game, that they're cool with that.
Yeah, and that's all he needs to do for them to be successful.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
yep. My pick. I mean, I think the Lakers are gonna win, but Lakers Nets, that would be extremely entertaining. That's probably best case scenario.
That's what I'm rooting for personally.
That would be a great series to watch.
Yeah.
We could talk about the Blackhawks a little bit. I haven't been keeping up with the entire NHL really this year, but the Hawks have been surprising me a little bit in a good way, honestly.
Really?
Lankinen, the goalie,
Uh-huh.
he's kind of come out of nowhere. He played for the Ice Hogs, which is our AHL affiliate.
Okay.
So he's been in the minors for a few years.
Mm-hmm.
He did all right there. He's come up. He's been lights out. I mean, he's an early candidate for goalie of the year.
Really?
Yeah, and because we had Malcolm Subban, who was supposed to be our starter. He's been struggling a little bit. Had a great game last game. We won 2-1 in overtime against the Stars. It was either yesterday or the day before. But, I mean, we're 5-4-4. We're second in the division right now. I mean, the boys are playing well. DeBrincat was out for a little bit with COVID. Since then, 2 games back, he's had 3 goals. I think he's had 5 points. Even last year, like Crawford, who retired, he single-handedly led us to the playoffs, but we had the youngest team in the playoffs.
That's crazy.
I know, and it's weird because like our core has kind of been split up and they're aging. Like Kane, Taze,
you feel like the team as a whole would be old at that point, you know.
And our farm system, which is wildly, while we were winning those championships, like we were bringing some of the best prospects though, because people wanted to play here.
Yeah,
you know. So, I mean, we have one of the youngest defenses in the league. Like I said, last year in the postseason, we had youngest team in the postseason, which is crazy because we have guys that are like 35, 37, like Keith and Seabrook. But
then you got guys like Doc out there. So, I mean,
Kirby Doc. I mean, he's gonna be out for a few months with the wrist, but I mean, that kid, he's so young and he's just fantastic.
You see it in him for sure.
Suter, another great young player. Kubalik. Last year, he was up. I think he was top 3 in Rookie of the Year voting.
Yeah, didn't he lead rookie goals?
He led all rookies in goal scoring. I mean,
you can't ask for much better than that.
On defense, some of the younger guys make mistakes, but they just lack experience. You know, we still have veteran leadership like guys like Duncan Keith there. Kane still, honestly, I think he's the best all-around player in the league. You could say what you want, but he's always on.
Yeah, I think they definitely are just missing a few defensemen, I think.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's definitely what they've been lacking. But in their last 10, they've been 5-1-4. I mean, that's pretty good if you ask me.
I mean, we've gotten the majority of the points out of our last 10 games.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I mean, it's still early in the season, but we played 13 games.
Yeah, and they're still up there in goals allowed, but I mean, they're pretty high in goals scored. So it's like
we are. That surprised me that we have the most goals in the division right now.
Yeah,
which is crazy. I mean, our offense has been. It started off a little slow, but they've been definitely clicking lately. Yeah. And with Lankinen in goal, if he can keep up what he's doing and be a top 5 goalie in the league, I mean, I don't know. I think it's going to take a few years for some of these younger guys to develop, but we could definitely surprise a few people.
Yeah, I could definitely see them getting in the playoffs, maybe win a series or 2. You know, you never know.
But with teams like the Lightning and I don't know, because they just won the cup last year. They're just always. I mean, they're 7-1-1 right now.
Yeah, I was about to say they don't seem like they're slowing down too much.
No, but I mean, as far as the Hawks go, I think they're gonna surprise a few people. If you have Kane leading your team. And Taze is out right now with illness. His situation's been kind of weird.
I was about to say, any. Do you think he comes back at all?
There were some rumors like saying that I don't know, that he was gonna retire because of like something. Like I heard that someone
it's
said
undisclosed,
that he had,
right?
Like, so there was a rumor that said he could possibly have ALS, but I'm like, I haven't heard anything about that.
I feel like that would be a pretty big thing.
Yeah, and that would definitely get out like on a wider scale. Yeah. But they said they'd give an update on Seabrook and Taze soon. Huh. I think we should get rid of Seabrook. He's got a bad hip,
pretty aged.
Bad knee.
Yeah.
He's old. He's done his time here.
Last year he seemed to be holding the team back a little bit, I think.
Oh yeah, for sure, without a doubt.
Because he is. I mean, I don't know. It just seemed like everyone else was like double speed than he was.
Oh yeah, yeah. He was so slow last year, and I think we could keep a Keith. Taze is kind of up in the air, but like
yeah, Keith's kind of a glue guy. I think having
Keith and Kane there, I don't know. That's huge. The huge veteran presence, and those guys are always on. I mean, they're both playing like 30 minutes a game, so
yeah,
half the game they're out there, and for hockey, that's insanely. that's a lot of time on the ice. So
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like we could surprise some people this year.
Definitely. Have to see if they can keep up the hot streak.
Yeah,
Okay.
I hope so. I mean, hopefully this kind of play is sustainable. Once we get this goalie situation really figured out, because, I mean, we signed Scott Darling, who was our former backup, to an AHL deal. I don't know if he's going to see playing time. I mean, Subban finally had a really good game the other day, so hopefully he could be a good backup, because it seems like Lankinen's going to be the guy that's starting. But
yeah, definitely. I feel like you know what Subban is at this point.
Yeah. He's a career. I mean, he's just been a career backup. I feel like that's what he's gonna be.
When we acquired him, that's exactly what he was, and that's what he is now.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. I mean, we have a young team. A couple years from now, I think we could be a threat. But this year's not really for like making a championship run or anything. I feel like we just need to develop some of these players in the next couple of years. It's kind of like a similar situation with the Bulls. I'd say.
I was thinking the exact same thing. Same arena and everything.
So Chicago sports as a whole, I'd say outside of the Bears.
Dumpster fire, yeah.
And the Cubs, which is also kind of a dumpster fire, but
yeah, they're both in the kind of same situation.
Yeah, but I mean, we have three teams that are looking up, and the White Sox kind of already proved themselves a little bit last year. But
I think the if I had to rank the teams in Chicago, I think the White Sox are the best team for sure. The second best team.
I want to say the Bears.
Yeah, I think the Bears are the second best team at this point. They have a downward trajectory, obviously, but and then the third, I guess the Cubs.
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 Yeah.
Because the Cubs can technically win their division, but like, I mean, they're also going down.
And then I'd go
Hawks.
Blackhawks and then Bulls, but both those teams are looking up.
Exactly.
And with the White Sox being the number one team in the city, and they're still going to be like in 2 years from now, they're going to be so much better than they are right now, which is crazy to even think about.
Yeah, I mean, times are crazy. As a White Sox fan, I never thought this day would come, honestly.
I know. It's like one of those things we knew like it was in the process of happening, but now that we're actually seeing this come to fruition, it's been a long time coming. I know we won in 2005, but like I was like 4 years old. I barely remember what happened. So
yeah, watching all these prospects all this time. I mean, finally seeing them actually like play for the team is crazy.
Man, if we could pull out like 3 championships at least, I honestly think we could win more than that.
I mean, yeah, I just want to start with 1.
Yes,
that's how I am.
Yes, exactly. We can't get too ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, because coming out with none, that would be a rough situation.
We would not hear the end of that from Cubs fans either.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that rivalry is definitely real over here.
Oh, that it's more real than ever right now, I'd say. Especially with kind of the White Sox and the Cubs flipping like positions that they, as opposed to like the last decade, because the Cubs were on the come up for a while, and then they finally won a championship. I think they underperformed, honestly, but I don't know.
Yeah, they definitely did.
I feel like they could have won a few more, but I don't know, man.
They had some.
They still got that one though.
They messed up some key signings.
Oh yeah, for sure. They still got that one, but
yeah,
we'll see what happens, honestly.
Yeah, we'll see.
You think we're good?
Yeah, I think we're good.
All right, that concludes the first episode of the Glacier Guys. Follow this weekly podcast. We'll be posting a SoundCloud link on the library website, and you will be able to access this podcast on the Glacier, the official Moraine student publications. And we're good.
Yep.
All right, we'll see you guys next week.
Yep. See you guys next week.